The Buddha's view of the universe was profoundly revolutionary for his time, presenting a vision that remains deeply insightful and relevant even today. Understanding how the Buddha perceived the universe involves examining his teachings on cosmology, impermanence, causation, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself. Rather than aligning with theistic creation stories or materialistic doctrines, the Buddha proposed a universe governed by natural laws, impermanent processes, and interdependent relationships, devoid of any permanent essence or ultimate creator. Central to Buddha's teachings is the idea of impermanence, anicca. He viewed the universe not as a static entity, but as an ongoing flux, continuously changing, evolving, and subject to endless cycles. Nothing in the universe, from vast galaxies to microscopic organisms, remains fixed or unchanging. Everything that arises inevitably passes away. This fundamental impermanence is central to Buddhist cosmology and existential philosophy. Buddha taught that clinging to anything transient, whether material possessions, emotions, or even conceptual understandings, leads to suffering, precisely because impermanence is the unyielding reality of existence. In exploring the nature of reality, the Buddha presented the doctrine of dependent origination, paticca samuppada, emphasizing the interconnectedness and interdependence of all phenomena. According to this teaching, nothing arises independently. Every event or being emerges due to specific conditions and causes. Thus, the universe, in Buddha's view, is a complex web of interrelated conditions, where everything affects and is affected by everything else. This interconnected causation negates the possibility of an independent, eternal, or inherently existent entity. Even human consciousness, the self, is not seen as an independent, permanent soul, but rather as a continuum of conditioned experiences, constantly arising and ceasing. Furthermore, the Buddha rejected both eternalism, the belief in an unchanging, eternal soul or universe, and annihilationism, the belief that existence ends completely upon death. He articulated a nuanced middle way that transcends these extremes. The Buddha asserted that the universe and beings within it exist in a continuous flow of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. This cycle of rebirth is driven by karma, the ethical law of cause and effect, whereby intentional actions lead to corresponding results, shaping future existences. This cyclical view of existence applies not only to humans, but also to entire worlds and cosmic cycles themselves. Universes come into existence, evolve, deteriorate, and eventually dissolve, only to give rise to new universes in an endless cosmic dance. Buddhist cosmology vividly depicts a multi-layered universe composed of different realms. Heavenly realms inhabited by beings experiencing great pleasure, realms of humans characterized by both joy and suffering, realms of hungry ghosts consumed by desire, animal realms dominated by ignorance, hell realms of intense suffering, and even higher planes of existence inhabited by beings absorbed in meditative tranquility. These realms are not necessarily physical places located in some distant space. Rather, they symbolize mental states and experiential dimensions that beings traverse through cycles of rebirth, determined by their accumulated karma. Thus, Buddha's cosmology elegantly blends psychological insight with cosmic vision, reflecting an understanding that reality itself is deeply shaped by consciousness and perception. At the heart of Buddha's understanding of the universe is the realization of anatta. Contrary to common assumptions about a permanent soul or fixed identity, Buddha taught that what we experience as the self is merely a collection of temporary phenomena, physical form, sensations, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness, known collectively as the five aggregates. Each aggregate is constantly changing and devoid of inherent identity. Recognizing this absence of permanent essence liberates individuals from attachment, leading ultimately to the cessation of suffering, nirvana. Thus, Buddha's cosmological view directly relates to his ethical and spiritual teachings, emphasizing liberation from suffering through clear insight into reality. The Buddha also highlighted that speculating excessively about metaphysical origins or ends of the universe is ultimately unproductive. When asked explicitly about the beginning or ultimate extent of the universe, the Buddha famously remained silent, deeming such questions irrelevant to the primary goal of overcoming suffering. He compared such inquiries to someone struck by a poisoned arrow who refuses medical treatment until learning precise details about the arrow's origin, material, and shooter, questions that distract from urgently needed healing. This pragmatic approach underscores Buddha's commitment to addressing immediate human suffering rather than speculative metaphysics. Yet, within Buddha's teachings, there is a deep implicit understanding of the universe's boundless nature. He described worlds upon worlds, stretching infinitely without perceivable beginning or end, arising and ceasing in perpetual cycles. In this expansive vision, our world and human existence represent only a tiny fragment of reality's immeasurable scale. This vastness instills both humility and wonder, emphasizing human life's precious and transient nature and the profound value of striving toward awakening. Moreover, the Buddha perceived the universe not merely as physical matter, but as fundamentally inseparable from mind and consciousness. He recognized that what we perceive as reality is filtered through mental formations, habits, and perceptions. Thus, the universe, in Buddha's perspective, is inseparable from experience itself, shaped, understood, and co-created by consciousness. Realizing this intimate connection between consciousness and reality empowers individuals to transform their understanding of existence, moving beyond ignorance and delusion toward enlightenment. Finally, the Buddha's cosmological vision points directly toward the ultimate goal of spiritual liberation, nirvana. Nirvana, described as the cessation of suffering, craving, and ignorance, transcends all conditioned phenomena, existing beyond space, time, and conceptualization. Although nirvana is often portrayed negatively, as extinction or cessation, Buddha's teachings portray it as a profound, unconditioned freedom, the supreme peace that results when the causes of suffering have been uprooted. Thus, Buddha's view of the universe is ultimately practical, oriented toward liberation rather than mere speculative philosophy. Buddha's vision of the universe emerges as deeply insightful, practical, and revolutionary. He viewed the cosmos as impermanent, interconnected, and shaped by consciousness, rejecting fixed essences, permanent souls, or ultimate creators.